Surprise! It is I, the one who runs the show. Hmm. Know you not my name at this point? Care less could I. See, it is not about the pseudonym by which I choose to present my producership. It is more so about the ideology that I seek to provide a furtherance for. The words that enact as a sword are not mine, really. It's more so what the source wants to say through. Now, in a way, they are mine, as they are what comes to me to say, but I don't own them. As the same thing could be said in a different way, or in the hilarious manner, the same way, as these words are not under lock and key, because I said them, my G. So, allow it to begin. Spatial Deformity, a show where we achieve Zen. May do some yoga posing. Different kinds of things. 1 second. Allow me to make it sting. Came through like a bumblebee. Rumbling. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali. It dawns upon me that the strike is rather nice. So I must create a new way to hit the mic device. I'm not sure what I call this kind of presentation. Something to do with oration and hip-hopetry. Maybe philosophy. I don't know. Off the dome, probably. Every single day. I do this thing called speaking. I do it non-greasily. So, it seems to me to be the pie that I must eat is a chocolate one, as I'm a black guy under the sun. So, how shall we enact? How shall we enact? How shall we enact? How shall we enact? Today, I thought of a simple fact. Let's take this time to pause real quick. So, on Spatial Deformity, this is episode 1. There'll be freestyling portions while I'm kind of giving spiritual lessons of knowledge. Other times I'm just flowing for fun, which also may filter through which also may filter through lessons as well. And there'll be times when I kind of talk like this, and then kind of just orate, speak the ideas that come to me to say. So, and I may flow back into freestyling and, in and out kind of thing, and we'll see what happens as we go on this journey together. But, episode 1. So, earlier today, I was buying this very tripod that I'm using to record this video now. I thought to myself, I am a creative, and I shall create well. Repeat it after me. I am a creative, and I shall create well. So, what does that mean? To me, hilariously, I hadn't really thought about it all the way until now. But I'm a freestyling kind of guy, so I'm gonna let the ideas come as they'll come. Which also rhymes. But I may come back to this idea and update it. I know that's an okay thing to do. To have an idea, talk about it, think about it, and then come back to it later with newfound wisdom and knowledge, and address it again. And that's some knowledge I can pass from me to you. You don't have to be right now. You don't even have to try right now necessarily, conceptually, if you get what I'm coming at. What you gotta do is be smooth at this point. At this point in life, I think it's just about being smooth. And doing what you do. And that's like the best. I feel like less words is almost more from my angle now. So, as we proceed to remember the phrase of the day, I am a creative, and I shall create well. So, let's get back into that. What that means to me is trying beyond a shadow of a doubt to get something out in a day's time. Now, for me, I'm in a space where I want to release a lot. I want to put out things. I want to have my my content and what you can experience me with enhanced. More, tons, lots, all of it, right? Minor hiccup, but we're back. So I want that. That being the case, I have to act as such. But what I realized myself, what's going to help me get through this part of my life, is the idea of setting small goals. I initially always do this thing where I set these big goals for myself and I can never quite seem to make them happen, and I always get sad when I don't achieve them. But what it's coming around to be is an assessment of my energy. And I'm assessing my strengths and my weaknesses. And we all have strengths and weaknesses. Nobody is just a pure rock of energy, bro. There's something in you. Not saying you have problems, but there are things that are complemented by other people that you're gonna need in your life in some way. And that's kind of a dualistic flip. But the main thing is you can't do everything alone. But when you are doing it alone, you have to work to your strengths and work against what's going to hinder you in a way where you're giving yourself the best advantage. Here's an example of that. I can create music very quickly. I can freestyle a song legitimately and feel comfortable enough to put it out and say this is a legitimate song. I can do that. I made a 30-minute freestyle song where I freestyle for 30 minutes and I put that joint out. I said this will be out. I have another one in the tuck. So another 30-minute freestyle joint in the tuck. Like I be doing this. So, and I could do art like that very quick. So that leads me to be like, man, I'm gonna put out this project, that project, whatever, you know. I'm gonna put this out, that out. All these songs, bing, bing, bong, boom, 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 song a day, blah, 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 blah. But what I can do is set myself up for success. Because I had a talk with a really close friend of mine. He told me about his project that's coming out later this year. And he gave the date he gave for release was pretty far. In my context of like, I'm being like, man, I'm trying to put out songs now. But he taught me something in that instance. He taught me something. And the context of it is, you don't have to put out stuff all the time if you're uncomfortable. And I'm not saying that he's uncomfortable. What I am saying is that he's approaching it from a space of playing to his strengths and knowing how he can deliver a strong piece of art. Because there is the context also of providing strong work. You know, I can maybe say some of my work hasn't been that strong conceptually, maybe because I do want to do things so fast. But I want strong stuff too. Also, is the concept for me of just getting things out. That's a talk for another episode. Let's focus on working on our strengths here. So, when learning the idea that I don't have to put out a billion songs a week to be successful, because I just don't. It's not a requirement, especially when it tings a thing in me that makes me feel like I may or may not be able to accomplish this goal. That's when, like, when I feel as if I may or may not be able to accomplish this goal, that's when I'm like, okay, I need to set a much smaller goal. Because achieving goals is like giving yourself candy. Ooh, piece of candy. You know, it's like giving yourself candy when you accomplish it. And when you set proper goals, it'll make you feel really good about yourself when you look back and say, man, I actually did that. So I'll give you an example. For me, what I will set as a goal definitively that I know I can achieve for sure is to put out 2 songs a week. One more on the new side and maybe one more so on the older tip when I can. Because I have a lot of songs I want to put out that I want to get to. Actually, let me say that again in a better way. So 2 songs a week, one on the older side because those are the ones I really want to get out. I've been sitting on them for a while, and one on the newer tip when I can because I want to show you guys where I'm at right now. Now I can accomplish that goal easily. 2 songs a week, not a problem at all. I can do that. Now I had a prior goal that I will share with you, and that goal was to put out 2 songs a day for a long time. And while I could do that under certain circumstances, if I had all the freedom in the world and I really focused and locked in, maybe. But again, me talking like this means it gives me a little bit of a pause. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can't do that. So let me set a goal I can do much easier and know I can accomplish easier. And then here's the cool part. If it doesn't seem like enough, once I hit that goal, what I can do, I can give myself extra credit, right? Extra credit, meaning every song that I get out above that 2 a week is now extra credit, and not indicative of what I must do going forward, but just a show of how much I'm going overboard with my talent, my ability to harness what I have to do to get things out. So go for extra credit as opposed to completing the biggest assignment ever would be my summation of how I would, lock that down. So yeah, play to your strengths, set small goals, set goals that feel very achievable, and then go for extra credit. That's how I would say I want the first episode to kind of be. I cap it off with a little freestyle for you, my G. So begin by saying once again, repeat it after me. Repeat it after I say it. I am a creative, and I will on. Let's go again. Sorry, I stuttered. I am a creative, and I will create well. Repeat it after me. I am a creative, and I will create well. All right, let's get into it. Yo, I'm a creative. I'll create well. I came through to feel swell. Endorphins is all that matters in actuality. I want to be a sober cat. That's not a tragedy. I want to be a sober cat. That's not a tragedy. Meanwhile, you're trying to be Tom. You're trying to be Tom Sands to Jerry. Meanwhile, I'm just Ben. Meanwhile, I'm just Ben. Listening to Big. Holy crap! I came through like a fig. Rather sweet, a nice treat. Rather sweet, a nice treat. Mission complete. Mission complete. Mission renewed. Mission never deleted. What's the mission to you? When you take time, what can't you do? When you take time, what can't you do? Came through misconstrued because I took the time to knock it down properly. It's like chopping a tree. I don't like chopping trees at all. I feel as if there are other solutions to these things we call society that can involve not hurting nature and all of its beauty. I love this forest, and this forest loves me. I spend time with it every day because I need to not feel crazy. Go outside, talk to a chipmunk. They'll have something to tell you. Maybe where to find some good nuts. Who knows? But don't give up. This is not the time to fold, my friend. It is the time to begin anew. So let's take this time and remember who designed us. Our moms. And the biggest mom of all is Source. Trust Source, and everything will feel as though it's got it by the force. Now, get to being Obi. Yo. Think slowly or fast. Either way, it's not all about cash. Live life. Spatial Deformity. Peace.
Yo, it never goes beyond true. Sometimes you gotta reboot, recoup the dupe to suit the song.